Hi, this is Christine for Trinity Stamps. Today we're going to do a two-page spread in a traveler's notebook insert. And this is a standard size. It's 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. And it fits in a standard Midori notebook. I have tended to make coffee spreads in this notebook, so I'm just going to continue that trend and do a bit of stamping and a background layout. So I have a card that is 8 by 4, and I'm going to stamp use some stamps from the Trinity Coffee Character stamp set to sort of make a background that I'm going to then tape into the insert. I prefer to do this at times if I'm going to do some stamping or Copic coloring, because even though I've made the notebook myself with some thick paper, it tends to bleed through. So here I've lined some stamps, which I'm going to stamp repeatedly. And I wanted a very soft color. I found for stamping things about coffee, this stamp die from Paper Tray Ink seems to, and it's called Soft Stone. It tends to be a very warm gray that it almost looks a little brownish to me. So I'm going to stamp this repeatedly on this thicker paper that then I'm going to tape into the notebook insert. And it's just going to be these 4 images repeatedly, just sort of to make a little background and a little interest to the two-page spread. You can stamp in the notebook. It is, especially though when you're doing a background, you're using background images like this, since the notebook has some give, it's a little bit more complicated to stamp. If I were just doing a tiny bit of stamping, I would probably stamp in the notebook itself if I knew the color didn't bleed through. For example, this one is not really one of those colors that would bleed through. It's very soft. So I'm going to stamp it one more time, just to make a page of it. And so unfortunately my MISTI isn't big enough that I can do that in my MISTI. So I'm just eyeballing it. And it's not perfect, but it's good enough. So here's one I made previously, just to show you. I kept it kind of simple this time. So here's a photo of my favorite coffee cup, and I love coffee. My blog is called Creations Fueled by Coffee, and I just love coffee. So that's my favorite mug, and I just thought I would document a picture of it. So I'm going to now add adhesive, double-sided adhesive to this panel. And here I have my notebook again. And I'm just going to adhere this page in. So the notebook inserts are readily available online in stores such as Michael's, or I usually make my own because I tend to use thicker paper. If you want to make it really neat, you do have to have a heavy-duty paper cutter to sort of trim all the edges of your notebook. So here I thought I would add a few pre-stamped images from the Coffee with Character set. And I'm just going to have them sort of hanging out on the big coffee mug. I will have this, I made the coffee cup on my silhouette, and I'll have it available on my blog for you to download. So I'm just kind of adding them all over. Donuts are always good too, so thought I'd add a donut. And now I'm going to do a little bit more stamping just to finish it up. I'm going to write caffeinate, or stamp caffeinate rather, in a couple places. As you see, you can stamp neatly in the notebook. It's just if you're doing a large amount of images, I recommend that you do a panel, and you can always tape it in. And again, just make the panel slightly smaller than the notebook. So if you make a 4" by 8", that'll fit neatly in your notebook. And so as a final touch, I'm going to use a 1 Canoe 2 stamp, date stamp that I have, just to put the date on my project. And since most of my other layouts are just black and white, I'm actually just going to leave it as is and not color it in, just in keeping with the rest of my notebook. And there you have it. There's my 2-page spread using Trinity Stamps Coffee with Character. Thanks for watching.